Are you in need to convert data into a pivot table and wondering how? Let's assume that this table refers to annual consumption of fruits, and let's fill in the data for all years. Afterwards, select the relevant area for the pivot. Go to Insert, select Pivot Table, and from Table or Range. The pop-up menu will display the area selected for the pivot. Press OK. Now our pivot template appeared in a new sheet. What we see on the right side of the screen is called the field list. Simply drag and drop the fields under the corresponding areas below. And there we go, our pivot is ready. If you would like to use it in Classic View, after right mouse click, select Pivot Table Options, and under Section Display choose the Classic layout. Now our pivot table is ready. You all nicely prepared your dataset, even included certain calculations. But by somehow those calculations do not appear properly in the pivot table. Does this issue sound familiar to you? All right. In this example, the table includes number of customers and total quantity purchased by those customers for each type of fruit. Let's fill in the table and include as well the formula to be able to calculate average quantity purchased by one customer. Then let's calculate the total and include as well the formula to calculate the overall average. Great! Now our base data set is ready. Let's prepare our pivot table as usual. Select the relevant area for the pivot. Go to Insert, select Pivot Table, and from Table or Range. The pop-up menu will display the area selected for the pivot. Press OK. Now our pivot template appeared in a new sheet. What we see on the right side of the screen is called the field list. Simply drag and drop the fields under the corresponding areas below. Just a moment. Did you realize the issue with the average calculation? By somehow for the pivot total the average figure does not match to the average figure we just calculated in the base data set. Let's fix this issue together. First, remove the average field from pivot. Then go to Pivot Analyze and under Fields, Items and Sets choose Calculated Field. Now let's give a name to the new field and include the formula that we want pivot to calculate by using the corresponding fields. As you can see, this calculated field is a new field which is also appearing as a new field under Pivot Table Fields. And it is properly calculating the average as in the base data set. You all nicely prepared your pivot, included certain calculations, and now you would like to highlight certain figures. But no matter what you do, the moment you refresh your pivot you realize that those temporary solutions do not work adequately. Does this situation sound familiar to you? Shall we start? All right. In this example, the table includes quantity of fruits per year. Let's fill in the table. Great. Now our base data set is ready. Let's prepare our pivot table as usual. Simply drag and drop the fields under the corresponding areas below. Now let's add a formula into our pivot table to be able to calculate the difference between 2 years. Go to Calculated field and insert the corresponding fields to add the difference formula. Now we have the difference between the 2 years calculated by our pivot table. Let's add another formula to be able to calculate the percentage difference. Another tip here is that, in order to properly show the formatting in pivot tables, it is best to use number format instead of format cells. Let's apply percentage as number format. Now we have the percentage difference, and let's try to present positive and negative percentages in different colors. Under Home, select Conditional Formatting and choose New Rule. In this step, it is very important to select the option All Cells Showing Values. Afterwards, as rule type, select Format Only Cells that contain. Under Edit the Rule Description, choose Cell Value Greater Than and type 0%. Select the color, in this example green, and press OK. As you can see, all cells with positive percentage figure are highlighted in green, even the grand total. Now let's repeat the same process for a new rule to highlight the figures less than 0%. In our example pivot, now all percentage differences are highlighted. Positive percentages in green and negative percentages in red. It even works properly for any chosen fruit combinations and for the resulting change in total. You have thousands of lines of data that need to be aggregated under categories and presented on a chart. And wondering how to proceed? Shall we start? All right. In this example, our table includes quantity of 3 types of fruits per year. Let's fill in the table. Great. Now our base data set is ready. Now let's prepare a separate simple table including our 3 fruits only. And let's give it a try to apply SUMIF formula. Select the range define the criteria and the sum range. Because we want to copy our formula, let's state the ranges in fixed format. For that we will need to incorporate $signs into our formula range, which we can easily do by using the shortcut key F4. Let's also put a $sign just before the criteria. Now we can easily copy this formula to all remaining cells. For the year 2 quantity we need to change the sum range. We can do this either by entering the new range into formula or by simply using the mouse. Now we have our totals aggregated for each fruit and the overall total is matching to the base data set. Let's now try to make a chart. Select the relevant area and choose the chart type. Let's give a proper name to our chart. We can even hide the underlying table by bringing the chart front. As you can see, our chart works properly and updates itself automatically whenever there is any change in the base data set.